Hello my friends, this is the 5 most important elements of digital transformation that most businesses actually ignore. Let me make a deal with you. I'm going to put the slides for this at the bottom, a summary of the slides at the bottom. When you're there, if you would kindly give me a little like and a subscribe, it will help enormously. And if you've got any comments to make, please feel free to stick them in the comment section. I'm going to show you the 5 elements, and each of those elements has an additional video which I'll link to as we're going through. If you like this very short summary, you can go and watch the extended videos on each of the 5 elements that we talk about. Before we go into that, I just want to bring in some context here. I believe that there's 3 stages for digital transformation. The first is digitizing. That is where we take our product services that currently exist and make them faster, cheaper, better. We have been doing that since the dawn of commerce. Why now would it be considered transformational? It's typically not. It's just digitizing. Transformation is when we know what we're transforming from and into. Internally, everybody's on board with that. We're going to be creating new products, services, and business models that leads to durable competitive advantage. And we can articulate the value that this brings to the customer. And when we can do that, then it's likely that we're going to be leveraging the emerging technology in order to make it happen. But there's 5 key elements that are needed to make this a success. The third stage is AI automation at scale, which is a wonderful experience if you've gone through the transformation. More videos on that later. Here's the 5 elements if you want to follow along on the printout from below, in the link below. The first one is mindset and planning. The leaders need to upgrade their mindset and planning. If we're using SWOT analysis or silly acronyms that you follow these acronyms, you will have a digitally transformed business. Nonsense, nonsense, nonsense. Digital transformation mindset is a new way of thinking, especially about risk. Strategy is a new way of planning, especially using predictive models and new transformational style frameworks that allow for a focused conversation. In particular, that allows leaders to be able to guide their business in through that transformational stage. If the leaders, managers and decision makers decide not to upgrade their own thinking, you typically get stuck in a cycle of digitizing. If we don't have the right communication, now I'm not talking here about Twitter and Instagram, I'm talking here about the repositioning of the mindset of the organization. What's in it for me? Is my job at risk? How do you make people come along with the process? That's actually a process of clarity, not persuasion, good communication. And how do you get customers to come on board with a new product, services, business model? Again, clarity in communications helps that. And usually we find that the communications teams need to transform their own thinking and their own processes. The next is usually missing is this culture of innovation. We have misinterpreted good ideas to be innovation, or some level of creativity to be innovation, or just innovation randomly happening. That's not a culture of innovation. To get to a culture of innovation takes deliberate practice. It will require way more than just technologists. It requires the business experts. It requires the communications professionals. It requires quite often HR to get involved. I mean, it's a team sport, and a culture of innovation is a set of processes that businesses need to upgrade to. Without that, they buy off-the-shelf technology that everyone else has access to and don't create any competitive advantage because anybody can buy it. So how do you build that culture of innovation? That's a key element for transformation. The technologists, in my experience, typically deliver whatever it is you ask them for. It's what you're asking them for that's usually the problem. Technologists, however, do make the error that they don't feel that they need to transform. I understand technology, therefore we are transformed. Not the case. Technology departments typically have to become much more internal, customer-centric. They have to become a service platform for the business. They have to become much more enthusiastically embracing of projects, and also have the authority to dismiss projects they know will not work, and the agency to be able to go in and help the business and the business units restructure and organize themselves, leveraging the emerging technology. So the technologists themselves, if we don't get them to change, you tend to get frustration in the organization. If we don't have data weaving throughout all of these, Predictive models, data measuring outcomes, not outputs. Output is a new brochure, a new website, a new service. Outcome is when everybody shifted from the other to the new. It's the outcome we seek, not the output. And we couldn't really measure this in the past. In the digital economy, you can measure it to the millisecond, to the user, to the time, to the conversion rates. You can get very anal on the data when it comes to understanding how to run the business, which links in with the strategy. So, in summary, if we don't have the right mindset, we end up digitizing. If we don't have the right communications, we get resistance. If we don't have the right culture of innovation, we just get random acts of digital. Incoherent projects. If we don't have the right technology, we see frustration flourishing. And if we don't have the right data, we just stall. We think it's done. It's stagnation. That's the summary. There's a video for each one of these coming up. Hopefully you'll watch it. Hopefully you'll give me that little like. And please, if you disagree, or even if you do agree, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Thanks for watching.